how's it going? What's been going on? Today I thought I would do an unboxing of my new deck of Heaven and Earth Tarot, and I thought I would just share what I think of this deck. Because first off, I want to say that what I thought about this deck before I received it was not what it actually is. So I'm very curious to show you what I thought of this deck. When I first saw this deck, for some reason my first impression of the deck was that it was more about the tarot throft kind of vibe, but I realize now that it's not a throft deck. It is based on the Rider Waite Smith traditions. So I'm not really familiar with Smith himself, but I do a lot of Rider Waite and Rider Waite Pamela, Pixie, whatever you want to call her. Those types are what I generally go with in my readings. But I did receive this as a gift, and I wanted to share it with you, and I want to share with you my first impressions of it. First off, I really do love the art. I love the art as it is. I'm not sure if I love the art for a tarot deck for myself. For some of you, this may be a perfect art for you to do tarot with, but as you can tell from watching my other videos and live streams, I do prefer the more colorful cards. I feel like it just touches my soul a little bit more than the black and white. But this is a very good deck, and I feel like I haven't done a lot of angel work, but I feel like I can use this deck to do and learn some more angel work using tarot. So that's my first expression, or my first review of the deck. It is by Jack Steffroth. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. You know, it does come in a beautiful box. This is the other side of it. I feel like that's the Fool. Let's just go ahead and see what's inside. It does come with a little book. I have done a review, or like a cleansing, of the Light Shears Tarot. If you can find that, I can link the video to that at the end of this video, where I did show my Light Shears deck and how I connected with them. With that deck has been one of my favorite store-bought decks. I have had previous Rider Waite's original decks before, when I first started tarot when I was a teenager, but since then I've been making my own tarot decks. I have a couple decks that I have personally made for myself that I generally use when I do my personal tarot readings and other tarot readings on YouTube and such. But yeah, for the little booklet and for the explanation of what the cards meaning like for the specific decks, this little book is a little bit harder. Like, it's not hard to read. It is simple to read, but there is different languages in the book that is a little confusing when you're first opening it up. I mean, the first paragraph, I guess, like the first part of the book is English, but I guess that is the nice thing about the deck, is that there is different languages in here, so it's open to more people's perspectives and stuff, which is good. But just like, as you can see here, you know, it's like there's a lot of writing, like this is the King of Cups, this is the Queen of Cups, so they put a lot of different cards on one page with very minimal information about that card, which is fine. Like, I would not recommend this deck at all for if you are a beginner. I think this is someone who is extremely familiar with tarot. You know, a lot of people have told me I'm not a typical tarot reader. I mean, I've done tarot and I have read a lot of books about tarot, but I do have my own way of doing things. I rely more on my intuition than the specific meanings of cards. And you know, some people say I'm not saying the cards right, but every deck has its own meanings. Like, if you go by the meanings for this deck from the book, it won't be the same as the meanings from like the Light Shears deck or another tarot deck, or even, you know, if you go with the meanings right from the Wikipedia itself, right? Yeah, so just like keep that in mind if you're planning on purchasing this deck. like I said, I would not recommend this to a beginner for sure. And also, you have to, I feel like this deck will require a lot of memorizing what the cards are, because at a first glance during a quick reading, it can be a little intimidating. I guess that's the word. As you can see, like, this is a Pentacles. The Pentacles is like the easiest one to spot because of the Pentacles in it, and so is the Cups. But I find the Wands and the Swords are going to take some getting used to if this is your first time using the deck. My first, advice would be to get familiar with the deck or really connect with the deck before you're trying to do a reading for somebody else. Maybe like try practicing on yourself. I don't believe in reading tarot for myself. I reach out to other tarot readers that I know and trust for my own tarot reading, just because you can be a little biased, right? You can change the meanings to fix what you want it to mean in a good way or a bad way. If you're having some self-doubts, you're definitely going to make the cards suggest you have those self-doubts, right? So that's just my opinion. I know a lot of people do read the cards for themselves, but I'm just going to do a little click through. This one is Wands, and it's swiftness. So some of the meanings are on the minor arcanas, like swiftness, and like you can see the art, it's very plain. It's, this one is clearly the Wands, I guess. Now that I'm getting more familiar with the deck, they are popping out more. There are these little symbols here, the triangles, and the zodiac signs here, like this one's Sagittarius and the moon, and there we go. And then we have the oppositions. So this one is great strength. Like, see, I read the cards to light to you, to dark to me. So like if you're reading this card and it is like this way towards you, just to read the cursive writing backwards, if you're not familiar with the deck, reading cursive backwards is not as easy as reading printing, like printed, not cursive, writing backwards is a lot easier. And this one is maternal success. It's also Pentacles. So these ones are all Wands, Pentacles, and then you got this one is also Pentacles. This is the King of Pentacles. This is also Pentacles. Wait, no, this is Pentacles. I'm getting mixed up here. See, I feel like these cards in the reverse positions is going to be a challenge. I feel like if you're going to learn this deck, to learn in the light first, like I wouldn't do reversals with this deck until I'm like very familiar with it, just because the nature of this deck. Like I said, this isn't for a beginner. It's for someone who is a pro and can spot these things more precisely. Yeah, there's maternal goals, and this one is the High Priestess, so that is the major arcana, which is really pretty. I love this art. You can't even see that. She is very pretty. And this one is the Sword. It's eternal success. Can't really see this one, but that is the Sword. Eternal success. This one is the Magician. He's very handsome as well. Ooh, this one is a nice one as well. It's the Wheel of Fortune. I love that. There's a lion and the gargoyles. It's not a lion. It looks like a lion, but it has like an Egyptian headpiece on it with like a lion's body, with the gargoyles here for protection. You see that. Then here you have the King of Swords. It reminds me of Captain Hook. He has a hook there. The Fool, that was on the cover of the box. And then this one is Lost in Pleasure. Ooh, Lost in Pleasure. That's kind of a good meaning. This one is the Five of Cups, Lost in Pleasures. Huh, that is very touching. This one is Blended Pleasures. I don't know if you see that. I don't have cups yet, so there's cups. There's swords, cups. This one is Love. This one, I believe, is the Two of Cups. There's two cups there. So it does indicate it if you have like a good eye. But if you're trying to do a quick reading for multiple people at once, like at a farmer's market or something, unless you're a pro and you really know this deck and you know, but you know, I wouldn't like pick up this deck and expect to be able to use it like right on the spot, like some other decks, like the Light Shears deck. I feel like you can just pick it up and just use it. It's very simple, and the pictures tell you exactly what the cards are pretty much, you know. Like I said, I'm gonna link that to the end of this video, just giving you like a little view of the cards here, you know, just showing you the symbols. And if you want, I thought I would just read a little bit of what they have written in this little book. It says, "The Heaven Earth Tarot brings forth the glory of the heavens in a way in which we can connect to on a daily basis. This deck is for people who set the divine in every day, the connections between the mundane." If you don't know what a mundane is someone who doesn't or isn't aware of their magical powers, or kind of like humans. We're all humans, but you know, like humans who are not into magic and that sort of thing, or like don't really believe in spirits and angels and that sort of thing. They're kind of just, you know, oblivious to it all and just kind of live their day to day. So that is a mundane, if you didn't know. And the spiritual appear, and I realize that some people think mundanes are demons. I don't know. I saw that on another YouTube channel. Mundanes are not demons, just so you know. You can Google it yourself, but they're not demons. Yeah, and for the spirituals appear in everyday cards and decks. The artwork in this deck blends the images and the Waite Smith system with the deeper occult wisdom of a THUR deck. Okay, so some of the meanings in this book is, I guess, my first impressions. Maybe that is why I thought this deck was from the THUR deck. It does take, some of the meanings in this book are a little bit frothy. You know, that's not really my thing, but this was a gift to me and I really appreciate it. But yeah, maybe if you are more familiar with the THUR deck itself, like there's nothing wrong with THUR. That's just not something that I've studied when I'm doing my tarot readings and stuff like that. But if you are one of those who do understand THUR and do THUR, I feel like this will also be a good addition for you, because it is like a more in-depth of the THUR deck, you know? Yeah. This artwork reminds me of the Raphaelite movement, in which looks into nature and their art. Art is blended in the colors and earthly world and with spiritual and social themes. They sought to find a deeper connection between life and the spirituality, while Stephros art grounds the heavens and earth. So I guess the purpose of this deck is to connect the ideas of heaven and earth together. That is why there are many angels and heavenly symbols, which is not a bad thing, you know. It's definitely very much a Christian deck, I would say. Yeah, there's a lot of Christian symbolisms. There's the dove and the 5-point stars, and yeah, the hermit. There is a nice, like, what else does it say here? Unlocking the meanings of the Heavens and Earth Tarot. This booklet contains information for each of the 78 cards. There's information and specifics of the unlocking the symbols on each card. A short list of the set. Okay, so there's a list of all of them. Okay, the list tells you everything. Like, it tells you, like, for the Fool, the key words is innocence, but you know, everybody knows that. It also has the Hebrew letters. Okay, so the letters on here are the Hebrew letters. Interesting. And it corresponds to, you know, the signs, like air for Aquarius, Uranus for the Fool. Then it has a little bit of the meaning upright, and then the meaning of it in reversed. Yeah, and it also has some ideas for some tarot spreads as well that I've noticed. It does give you ideas for how to use these cards in a tarot spread. Some examples here, which is kind of neat. The Light Shears deck also has examples like that. I feel like they have a little bit more examples than this book does. Yeah. So that is my showing you of the deck and just kind of like giving you my personal review, my personal opinion of the deck in case you haven't taken a closer look at it. There's more cards if you want to see here. I may do a little bit of some shorts with these. I kind of find this is a little disturbing. The horse does kind of look like it's on fire. Some of the animal pictures are a little bit, I don't know, touch my heartstrings a little bit, you know? Especially the King of Wands. I don't know if I can find it for you here, but the King of Wands is a man who has a tiger on a big chain. If you're an animal lover and you're against animal cruelty, I would not suggest this deck for you. Well, you know, tarot is about bringing profound emotions, so I guess it is something you can go by, is those emotions. I don't see it here. This one has a ram. It's the Queen of Pentacles and her ram. And instead of like the Page of Pentacles, they use the Princess. And this one, Despair and Cruelty. I guess it's a Nine of Swords. I don't know where the, I must have shown it to you already. The King, was it this one? This one, yes. The King of Wands. It does look like the tiger is on fire and he is tied to a chain. So yeah, there are some, you know, just keep that in mind if you're thinking about purchasing the deck. But again, like, you know, if that brings up some emotions for you, that can make your reading better as well. I wanted to show you my opinion of the deck because when you first glance at it and see it when other people are using it in their tarot readings on YouTube, the art does look nice. It does look like, you know, pretty pictures. The artwork, like, I'm not gonna lie, the artwork is beautiful. It really is, you know? Like, look at that. The water looks surreal. It is no doubt beautiful. You know, there's like different types of people in here, and that is amazing, you know? But taking a closer look, I just thought, you know, you should see this, and just sharing my opinion on it. I know there's a lot of other people showing their decks, and everyone has their own opinions. but this is just my review of the Heaven and Earth Tarot. And I'm glad you stopped by, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye!